This is Ryan Bledsoe with the Duo Musical Playground. In this tutorial, we'll talk about the sketch that's called Music Inputs Outputs. You've just built the circuit that goes along with this sketch where you have your piezo buzzer as a speaker, and you also have some aluminum foil as your button. So far, this doesn't make any sound yet because you haven't uploaded the correct sketch to it. So let's get going on that. You'll notice that just like the other sketches we've looked at, there are 3 sections in this sketch. We have our variable section, we have the void setup section, and also the void loop section. Let's look first at the variable section. Here you can see that we have speaker labeled as pin 7, just like we've done before. We also have a button in this one. We're assigning our button to pin 5. If you attached your button to a different pin on your microcontroller, you'll have to change this 5 to that number right now. We also have this variable called sensor value. We're not going to go into what that is, but it's important in our sketch later on. We also have a variable called LED. You don't need to worry about this, but this is kind of a test so that you can see if your circuit is working correctly or not. What this will do is when you tap your pieces of foil together, triggering the button, it should light up the LED that's on your microcontroller as well. If you don't want to use this, you can go ahead and go to the beginning of the line and put 2 slash marks to comment this out. I've also included the note names that we went over in the last tutorial so that I can use letter names in my void loop instead of having to call the pitches by their frequencies measured in hertz. Our void setup section looks a little bit different. This is the same, setting the pin mode of the speaker, which we've set again is pin 7, to an output, as an output. This just says the speaker is going to do something in the world. In this case, we'll hear that. We also have the pin mode of a button set as input. In this case, the button is going to give information to the microcontroller. Therefore, it is an input, something that we interact with in the real world that causes the microcontroller to do something. In this sketch, we're also declaring that the button has a value of high. That means that it's always set to high, and that in order to trigger it, we have to change that setting high to low, and you'll see that in the void loop. So if we look at our void loop section, we have that variable that we created up here that I said we didn't need to worry about, sensor value. So we're saying here, sensor value is going to read the button. We've already told it that it's going to be high by default, or high automatically. Then we have a statement that says if the sensor value is low, meaning that the 2 pieces of foil are touching, then you're going to first turn the LED on, high means on, and then you're going to make a tone, send it to the speaker, and that tone is going to be A. Remember, I can say A here because up in my variable sections, I declared that A was this frequency. Then we continue our statement to say else, which is otherwise. So in this case, the 2 pieces of foil are not touching each other, then the LED is going to be low or off, and there will be no tone coming through the speaker, and then it loops again. I'm going to go through this again a little quicker without the detail so you can follow what this sentence is actually saying. If the 2 pieces of foil are touching, turn the LED on and play a tone A. Otherwise, if the 2 pieces of foil are not touching, don't turn the LED on and don't make the speaker play any sounds. Loops again. And this keeps happening. It keeps checking to see if the 2 pieces of foil are touching or if they're not. Now that you know what this sketch does, you can go ahead and upload it to your board just like you usually do. Don't forget to check in your Tools menu that you have the correct board selected and that you also have the correct port selected. Once you've checked that, you can click on the arrow to upload your code to your microcontroller and then play with your button. Now that I've uploaded the sketch from my laptop to the Arduino microcontroller, I can take one piece of foil and touch it to the other one to make a sound.